Hi, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to show you how to do data validation, specifically for a list of text data. What is data validation in the first place? You use data validation to prevent certain data entry errors when you type data into cells. And you can access this feature from the data menu and the data validation button or the data validation command. Let's take a look at what this is all about. Here I have my inventory table. And let's focus on column C, which is the department column. Now in this column, I can have food, apparel, toiletry, and kitchen. So I have 4 departments in my company. And when someone make changes to this column, or fill in the data for this column, for the case when the data is not yet, for the case of an empty column, I don't want them to type in anything other than these 4 departments or misspell those departments. So I can use data validation to prevent such data entry errors. How do I do that? Now, before I start, in order to do data entry for a list of text data, I need to find some empty space somewhere. In this case, I've done the list, or rather, I've set aside some space in column P. You need to find some empty space somewhere and list out all the acceptable entries for that column. So here I've listed the 4 departments. Now it doesn't have to be on the same worksheet. You can basically do this listing on a separate worksheet as well. So here I've done it in column P for the sake of convenience. And we have the 4 departments here in column P. So once I've done that, I can now set up the data validation configuration. So back to column C, the first thing that I need to do is I need to select the affected area. In this case, it's column C from row 4 to row number 28. So there you go. So once I've selected the affected area, click on data, and over here on the right hand side of the menu, click on the data validation command or data validation button. Let me just zoom in. So there it is. In the data tools group, you have this button here for doing data validation. So click on that. So your data validation dialog box will appear. So over here on this settings page, drop down and choose list. Click in the source box and go to your list that you have created earlier. For my case, it's column P. Select the items in that list and it will be reflected in the dialog box P1 to P4. Next, click on the error alert page so you can craft an error message in case somebody enters data that is not within the acceptable entries. Give your error message a title, maybe for example department data entry mistake, for example. And over here, please select from the drop down. Now, what do I mean by drop down? You will see that in a while. So I'm just going to add on to this. No such department in the company. Okay, so that's the error message that someone will get when they do not enter one of the 4 departments that I have in the company. So once again, configure your data validation in this settings page and set up your error alert or your error message on the error alert page. So once you've done that, click on the OK button. Let's zoom out and take a look at the result. So right now in column C, if I were to enter something other than the 4 departments, for example, A, B, C, just some random characters there. When I press enter, you can see it says no such department in the company. Please select from the drop down. So what do I mean by please select from the drop down? Now, when you do data entry configuration for list, you'll be given a drop down. As you can see that there is a small button here. Let me just zoom in. There you go, small button. So when you click on the small button, the drop down button over here, you'll be able to select from the drop down list. Toiletry, for example, apparel, and so on. You don't have to select from the drop down list. You can also type in as long as it conforms to the acceptable entries. For example, I can just type in kitchen. There you go. Just zoom out. So that's it, folks. That's basically how you do data validation for a list of text data. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Do drop some comments in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel as well and hit the notification icon so that you'll be notified of any new videos that I'm going to add on to this channel in time to come.